Good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful Wednesday, and it's the 22nd of July, and I'm not so sure it's so wonderful outside, but it's raining at the moment, but we need the rain as well. So as we go along, I'll tell you why. I'm believing in myself that I'm wonderful this morning. It's number 76 of my live videos, and I heard this morning that I think Joe Wicks is on his 78th gym sessions, of course, which are physical fitness. Now, I was pleased to hear that he's now talking about working out the mind as well. I'm always surprised when people sort of start talking about working out the mind. He even used the words change your mindset. And of course, I get a bit frustrated. I can't say it's envy and things, but I think, my goodness, I've been going on and on about this for years. So I do get a bit frustrated when I hear that this change your mindset, work out your minds, as if it's something new. It's what I've been saying for years since I started Mind Circles, and I don't know, that's just the idea about 15, 16 years ago. So remember that physical workouts are okay, but there's not all of us can do them. And I have experience of people I know working out so much they're obsessive and even become aggressive. And this is where the importance of working out your mind comes in. There are many people, of course, who can't do all the Joe Wicks's physical fitness or go to the gym every day, whether that's age, whether it's a physical challenge they have. So it's kind of, we can't capture all of these people, but I promote that physical workouts can be a walk. Look at what would a Sir Tom, now Captain Sir Tom Moore. I mean, he walked. Now, walking is a physical exercise, so you can do just as well doing that as all these sort of heavy gym sessions. So I try and promote that, yes, we need physical exercise, but it doesn't need to be the rigorous type. You can go for a walk and work out your mind as well. And I have found, as I say, in fact, actually years ago, someone quite close to me became quite obsessive with working out and quite aggressive. And surprisingly, there was a kind of change in them. And I said, what happened? Oh, he said, my trainer said to me that I have to kind of work out my mind as well. And that's where, if you're doing some of the Eastern exercises, even kickboxing, taekwondo, they actually have a mindset as well. So what can I say? I wanted to I was thinking about how I could start this video, and of course, as always, my lovely Irish friend Dave, hi there, he posted up about life, and life is an opportunity. So make every day wonderful. And what a wonderful day I had yesterday. It was a ladies' day organised by the daughter of my bestest friend. She's a fab 93-year-old, and I'm accepted as kind of part of her family. And it was just wonderful to see her, to be there. And it cheered me up, but it also cheered them up as well. Everybody was cheered up. And she always reminds me that having a positive, just a positive mindset, a positive outlook in life definitely impacts positively on your overall health. And I hope I'm like her when I reach 93. So wonderful as that was, I had to return to exam marking yesterday, and I was driving, so I kept within my distance, and we were socially distanced as well out in the garden, but I had non-alcoholic drinks. I think I was believing that it was alcohol, and I kind of took on a bit of a headache last night, whether it was that and watching or marking the exam papers. But I realised that just to get back to what we would say in Scotland as auld clays and porridge. It's a fab Scottish phrase, and it just means the holiday's over, so it's back to normal. And translated, it means back to wearing your old clothes and eating porridge. In other words, watch, of course, this this applies quite apt for this pandemic with the shops opening. It kind of means that watch the pennies even more closely. And that's probably what we should be doing or have been doing maybe during the pandemic. But as soon as the shops open, everybody's rushing to the shops to spend, spend, spend. So I think we have to be careful about, we don't know what the future holds. So just be careful. It'd be lovely to hear if there's any my Irish friends out there can probably give me a similar phrase, and maybe the Welsh contingent as well. It'd be lovely to hear. Ours is auld clays and porridge. It's a bit like holidays this year will be seem to be where are you going? Hameldamy. And a few youngsters don't even understand this, but that just means home will do me. So I'm sure there's lots of lovely Irish phrases and Welsh phrases. It'd be good to hear about them. Anyway, enough of my lecturing you. If you feel wonderful, have a smile on your face, then you will feel more confident. And actually, I think with yesterday, and it was exciting to be there and then doing the exam papers, staring kind of at the computer, I had a bit of a headache. So I'm hoping you notice that I'm actually smiling and I'm feeling wonderful, and it makes me hopefully look wonderful. Because confident people, if you're confident, you attract people to you, you attract more positive people, you actually believe that you can deal with whatever life throws at you. You can take risks, and by doing this, opportunities open up for you. You're comfortable with who you are. Another saying, it's like saying you're comfortable in your own skin. And that's what really I'd like everybody to feel. We can't feel that all the time. I mean, we're human. But you can feel wonderful even if you kind of don't feel wonderful, if that makes sense. And it was a bit like this morning. I thought, oh, well, I had a headache and I'm not sure what I should do. And I thought, you know what? I feel wonderful, confident, and I'm going ahead with the live video. So hopefully you can see that this works. Anyway, there's some tips, because how do you feel wonderful when you're not particularly feeling wonderful? So a few tips here. Be ready to inspire people with conversation. Some people are good conversationalists, but you can all kind of practice this, because you can inspire people through stories. You can do it by telling a good story. Now, if you were to say to people who are not very good at this, tell a good story, they were like, oh no, I couldn't do that. Well, people love to hear stories, and confident people are good at striking up conversations. And even if you aren't, you can practice. And what you can do is just think back on maybe your adventures on holiday, or even doing up your kitchen, or, you know, anything you'd like to do. It's a story, it's your story. And if you say it with a inspiration and with confidence and excitement, then it can inspire others. And now another thing to remember is to include people. And it reminded me of a story. Have you ever joined a group, and I know it's natural that you feel like the outsider, and lots of groups, whether it's choir, singing, acting groups, business meetings or whatever, there will be people who know each other and you feel a bit like the outsider. And of course there will be cliques, and that's natural because you make friends when you join groups. But one of the things that really annoys me is when someone joins a group and they are left like an outsider. Please, if you're ever in that situation and somebody new joins your group, please make them welcome. In fact, I wrote another story here, but I remember I went to a business networking. It's a few years ago, and I'd always been told, you know, welcome, everybody's welcome, and you're putting forward your business. And it is a few years ago, so there weren't a lot of women. But I walked into this group, and I walked into this networking session, and there was various groups, and there was a group where kind of a space, and I thought, oh, I'll go over and join this group. And as I approached them, they actually closed ranks, and I thought, oh right, you know. So I didn't know what to say then, but it's like me over the back. When I leave, I think of, now that was Millie. I'm looking after Millie, the collie, who's coughing and spluttering. It isn't me. And I thought later about what I could have said. I should have tapped one on the shoulder and said, do you know what? You've missed out on £1 million deal. But it's always, you think of something after the event, but please try and make people welcome. And of course, that's what kind of networking is all about. But of course, don't always talk about yourself. The next tip is show interest in other people and their conversations. Don't always kind of hog the limelight. And I'm thinking here about another story. A friend of mine was going on a long haul flight, and they'd plenty of time to sleep, eat, chat, etc. And he was sitting next to somebody, and this person talked a lot, most of the way. And when they got to the other end, when they reached their destination, the person turned to him, the one who'd been talking, said, you know, this has been fabulous. It was fabulous sitting next to somebody who was so interesting. And yet he'd not really opened his mouth. So my friend thought to himself, do you know, that person's probably not had someone listen to him or taken interest in him. So please try and do that. If there's somebody new, or I know it's difficult, if you're shy about chatting to others, then you can actually practice some questions. And I'm not meaning strike up conversations to everybody on the bus or the train. I'm somebody who does talk. As you can imagine, you're probably saying probably talks too much, but you can practice like, what are you doing just now? You know, what inspires you most? Or are you facing any challenges? You don't want to obviously invade their privacy, but you can still practice questions. And of course, by practicing these, you've got to be ready to answer them as well, because they might reciprocate. Another tip about feeling wonderful is stand up or sit tall. This gives you confidence. You look confident, and it shows others that you believe in yourself. So you probably remember that I've been saying this when I start to do my mind bites. I say, please sit up straight, shoulders back, and it's the alignment kind of your spine. And you just feel better. So don't slouch. And another tip here is, because we're all slouching in front of computers. So, and I forget as well, I can find myself at this, and then you get up and there's something wrong with your posture. So what I do is have another tip here is have a Post-it note, and put a Post-it note beside your computer or beside where you sit. And just to remind yourself, it's shoulders back, head up tall, and just imagine somebody's got like a string or a piece of thread from the top of your head, and they're actually holding it up. So your head's up, kind of chin slightly out, and actually you feel better. It's as if someone's pulling you towards the ceiling. So when you sit like that, you feel confident. And thanks, John. Hi there. Great to see you as well. Just interrupting here, and it's from Ross Trevor. Fantastic. That's not taking me away from a train of thought, but it's lovely to see people and hear their comments. Read their comments. Read their comments. The other thing about feeling wonderful is stop worrying about what other people think. Now, we all do it. I do it as well. In fact, when I'm doing these live videos, I tend to think, oh, what will I sound like? Oh dear, did that go down all right? What did I look like? But you've kind of to sort of let that go. You've just got to say to yourself, like, as long as you're confident and know what you're going to speak about, which is another little story here. I do tend to try and think about what I'm going to speak about and have a few bullet points. And then I try and sort of maybe talk from the cuff, or it sounds like that. And I don't know if it's a Scottish thing or a Glaswegian thing, but I'd just given a talk, which I thought went down very well. I was talking from the heart with passion. And someone came up to me afterwards and actually said, a pity you didn't have any notes. And I thought, he said it actually in front of a lot of people as well. And he was laughing and joking. And when he left, the other said, oh, that's just his way. He's like that. And I thought, that's just not acceptable. And what I should have said at the time to him was, this is not acceptable. Again, I was a bit late. I thought about it afterwards. But never try and put people down. It's really, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So, in fact, they went on to say this chap was often like that, and that's just his way of joking and laughing. But I'm sorry, it's really a type of bullying, and it's probably to kind of make them maybe feel better about themselves or more confident. Anyway, you need to let it go. So, and I'm not going to change, well, I would change things that if it was going to become more positive, but I don't think you should change the way you do things just because one person maybe says something. I prefer to think that I'm just kind of talking from the heart, and if I'm passionate about something, I can talk a lot, as lots of people know. So, I mean, I think if you took on board everything that was said about you or talked about, if you constantly did this, I would probably wouldn't want to go live. And being live has been daunting for me because it's having not just to talk, but I suppose to try and look good. Maybe wear a different outfit every day. So there's lots of things go on when you're trying to do something. And what I found inspires me is I've had lovely comments from people who listen and say, oh, you look good and thanks. So that inspires me as well. And I'm saying thank you to everybody just now, because that's another thing we have to learn to do, is accept compliments. You don't need excuses like, oh, that was a new jacket, this was a new t-shirt. Just say thank you. So to every one of you, thank you very much. So also the other thing, when speaking to other people, I'm just thinking here now off the top of my head, but try and make eye contact. There's nothing worse than people are like all looking all round about the houses. So make eye contact when you're speaking to someone. And my old favourite, my broken record again, dump the negative people from your life. Now, I know that's difficult if you're living with a negative person, but we've talked about it before, and I've said, just get yourself off to the bathroom and affirm that I feel good. Take your deep breath and just visualize yourself in a happy place. So you don't respond to negative people. You're kind of giving them the limelight. And more than that, remove your negative self-talk. Now we all do this. Self-talk is when you're talking to yourself in your mind, and it's like you're saying, oh, I can't do this, oh, I don't know, and it's all that negativity. And you need to change your mindset. So every time this little voice in your head saying, I can't do this. Like this morning even, when maybe it's still a bit of a headache and I thought, oh, I can't do this. I thought, no, use your own tip. Turn it around and say, I can do this. Sit up straight. I feel good. And actually within seconds, I am feeling better. So you need to just don't let others put you down as well. And I've said this story before, but I love it. And people say it's the only time I think I managed to actually see something. I'm a book freak. I love books. And I was in the Borders bookshop at the time in Glasgow, and it's gone now, but it was lovely. In fact, I used to be put out. I would sit and read poems and books and sit around each of the aisles. But I was having a coffee, and I don't know if you can understand, but the tables are quite close together, and we wouldn't be doing that now, but the tables are close together. So I sat down having a coffee, and the table next to me, there's a young lad sitting having a coffee. And clearly his girlfriend, she came rushing in and she was so excited. She said, oh, and she'd been at an interview and she said, I think I did really well. And she was getting really excited. And I heard him say, you do well? Oh, I don't think so. You're not very good at that. And he went along in that kind of train of thoughts. You know, he was speaking his mind to her about how she wouldn't be able to do things. And then the tears started and she started to cry and she said, oh, I don't know what I'd do now. And I turned and I leaned over and I said, dump him. And then I left. I don't know what happened, but, I thought, how dare someone put her down when she was so excited? Anyway, that I'll never know. I wish maybe if the girl's listening, she'll tell me she went on to do fabulous things. I hope so. The next tip is don't worry about making mistakes. Now, we all do. We all make mistakes. I've made more mistakes and made bad decisions in life than probably, certainly I can count on my two hands probably. But don't dwell on them as long as you learn from them. And of course, I've made so many mistakes in all walks of life, business, relationships, you name it. And if you don't learn your lesson, another one comes along, another challenge. Yes, Millie's telling me that as well. It's her barking. She's telling me a challenge is coming. Challenges will keep coming to you, and unless you learn from them, they'll just keep coming. So that's it. Don't worry about the mistakes or the challenges. What's more important is how you deal with them. So when you're confident, you know that you and others, you know you're not perfect. And if you make a mistake, acknowledge it. There's nothing worse, and I think we've been through this with a few, not just our politicians and decision makers and within organisations. There's nothing worse than somebody making a mistake and then just glossing over it or ignoring it. People they gain respect from those who actually say, look, do you know what? I made a mistake. And then we can all move on from that. You just learn, we do better the next time. Now, speaking in public or to groups, whether they're strangers or work colleagues, and I think probably lots of us, speaking in public, you tend to think, you're going to go out there and speak to an audience of thousands. But even in the workplace, you've probably been doing Zoom calls or you have to have talking in front of groups. And that can be really daunting for people. And I mean, it's daunting for me too. But if you're not good at this, you practice. Be prepared. I did give a talk, it was actually down in London, and it's a group I certainly didn't know, very prestigious club, and I'd done a couple of stand-up comedy things, and of course they asked me, somebody dropped out actually, and they said they needed a Scottish woman to come and do this. So my Ayrshire friends phoned me and said, we know you kind of can talk, so would you do this? And I prepared something and I thought, right, I think it's okay. But then I asked a friend, could I run this by her? And that was one of the best things I could do because she kind of helped me streamline it. And I actually then, I'm a great believer in trying to not speak from a sheet or carry a sheet with me. But I was quite astounded that actually one of the other speakers actually spoke, had sheets of everything. And I thought, I didn't have that, but anyway, each to our own. Maybe have prompt cards, which is good, and then you can keep yourself on track. So the other thing you do is use my C, that's the creative imagination. Use your imagination to imagine yourself in front of the audience. And of course, if you do that in front of friends or some good friends, not people who bring you down, then that can help. And you can then imagine yourself in front of a strange audience of strangers. But keep some of I think it's more the adrenaline actually. Remember I said before I worked with a chap who was absolutely fabulous. I mean, I looked up to him, he was an inspiration to me, and he was a QC. And I'd been doing sort of court work, and I remember saying to him one day, I wish I was like you, I get so nervous. And he went, oh no. He said, the day you don't have nerves is the day you give up. And I said, oh, he said, yes. He said, you've got to have that kind of butterflies in the tummy, the slight adrenaline. And I think that's what actors do as well. When you're going there, you don't want to be complacent, and you probably then do forget your lines, forget what you're going to see. So that slight butterflies in the tummy, not that you're so anxious, but it gives you that adrenaline, that energy, and that helps you. So what I found is, and it's a wee shout out here to the acting and screenwriters group, I joined them and it was we had a fabulous time. It started as Right Camera Action, and one of the things that really helped me were the improvs. These are improvisations, and Millie's going to try and improvise here as well. Elaine's watching, you know what Hamish is like. Well, I've got a Millie here, sitting. She needs attention. But what I found there, improvisation was, if you you could take part if it's something you could act in or you'd written, but people who hadn't, they just said, do you want to go as a little group? So there'd be 2 or 3 of us and make something up. Now, they either gave you a topic or you made up the topic. And that was really scary but fun. Because scary because we'd actually then to act it out at the end of the evening. But that taught me a lot. It was like doing this exercise actually helped me become comfortable with uncertainty, because you don't know what's going to happen. And we would have great fun as the group, but what was the audience going to feel like, that it was hysterical some nights, but that taught me to be comfortable with uncertainty, because you just don't know what's going to happen. The other tip is, when you feel wonderful and confident, and I've said it already today, if you feel confident, you feel wonderful, and if you look good, then actually it just happens. So you don't need to spend loads of money on a fortune on clothes or designer clothes. When you feel good on the outside, you feel good on the inside, and vice versa. And of course, I'm one to talk today. As I said, I had a bit of a migraine last night, and I thought I might not be up to my usual this morning, but it was the clothes on, might be the same t-shirt from a while ago, but shoulders back, head erect, and my spine erect, and I feel wonderful. And of course, my old favourite, and I say it nearly every video, is smile. A smile costs you nothing, and by smiling, you feel good and everybody else feels good. So the affirmations for today would be: I feel wonderful. I feel great. Millie feels wonderful. What a wonderful day. Today is a wonderful day. Make up your own. Have a series of these, and it's really absolutely fabulous. And I thought I would finish with something that does make us feel wonderful and gives us strength, and that's the Mind Bites meditation called the oak tree, or the meadow and oak tree, and it builds confidence. So I think we should go into that now, and we just feet on the ground. So you've got to ground yourself, shoulders back, head up, and it's close your, remember, you've got to do your breathing, the diaphragmatic breathing. The breathing from the tummy brings energy in and then releases the stress and tension when you exhale. So this builds confidence, it builds strength, and you can take yourself anywhere, anytime in your mind. So we close our eyes now, and then take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale, letting all the tension and anxiety go. Now, if you can do this in nature or outside, it's absolutely wonderful, but you don't need to. You're going to take yourself to this place in your mind. So take another deep breath in through your nose, hold, and then exhale. Now imagine yourself in the countryside. You are walking across a lovely meadow. In the distance, there is a large, solid oak tree. It has strong branches stretching far. The lighter branches are swaying in the light breeze. You hear the leaves rustling. You are drawn to the solid tree. You walk towards it. You sit down on the grass. You rest your body and mind. You lean against the bark, and you feel the strength of this large, solid tree. Feel its strength flow into your body, into your mind. Feel its energy. You say to yourself, I feel confident. I feel strong. I feel positive. I feel safe. I know I can face challenges and turn them into opportunities. Now rest yourself against the strong bark of this solid tree for a little while. Let its energy flow into your body and mind. Now take another deep breath in. Breathe in that energy, that strength. And as you exhale, let all stress and anxiety leave your body and mind. Now slowly open your eyes and say to yourself, I feel strong. I am strong. I am confident. I face challenges and turn them into opportunities. Now that in itself, you should start by this time feeling confident and the strength flowing into your body and your mind. Now just shake your shoulders, yawn, take a big stretch, just to relax yourself again, and just take yourself there any time that you need to have strength to do something new. And of course, as always, I know we're now getting together with each other and we're maybe being able to meet, and soon we'll hopefully be able to have real hugs. But until then, virtual hugs to everybody, and thanks again for listening and watching to me. I'll be back on Wednesday. Oh dear, this is Wednesday. How time flies. I'll be back on Friday, and I think we'll just continue this theme. I'm going to call it Fantastic Friday. So we'll be back on Friday at 10 a.m. And if you've got any topic you want me to talk about, please private message me or post it on Facebook, and I'll see what I can do. But this week has been one of Marvellous Monday, Wonderful Wednesday, and Friday's Fantastic Friday. So I hope you all feel wonderful and you can see the day ahead as a wonderful, confident people. Thank you again, and see you Friday. Bye.